Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with some reviews. I finally got wave 1 of these Sonic Prime figures thanks to my friend Zach, who was able to acquire them from his local stores. I don't remember if he got them from Kohl's or Target, but I'm not going to go check in on that now. Because these are larger figures, in order to send me all 4 of them, he had to remove them from their card so that they would be able to fit in a shipping box without getting super expensive. But he did send me the card itself so we could take a look at what it is like. Nothing special. You got a picture of the Prime version of Sonic raising his fist next to the logo, letting you know it's a Netflix cartoon. And the back of the box features... the back of the card, I should say, features a picture of the individual figure, how many points of articulation it has, which Shatterverse he's from. In this case, it's New Yoke City. I thought it was supposed to be New Yoke City, like an egg yolk, not like yolk. Because, like, what is a yoke? Isn't that thing that you put on, like, an ox when it's pulling a carriage or something? Like, I don't think, like, a plow. When you put in the thing on an ox's neck so it can pull a plow, that's a yoke. Like, I thought it was supposed to be New Yoke City because, it was conquered by Eggman, get that thing, whatever. Let's see, Sonic runs at top speed and can use his special homing attack ability to destroy robots and protect his friends. The homing attack. I mean, they did have him actually collecting rings in the first episode, but do you really want to bring in the video game mechanics? Because, like aside from that first episode, they didn't really have a lot of video game mechanics in the show. And then, of course, there is the rest of the first wave. We got Sonic and then the other 3 characters. So that's pretty much going to be the theme of the cards. But now we can actually talk about the figure itself because it's pretty darn amazing. Now, like I said, these figures are larger. They are 5-inch scale instead of 4-inch scale. And they do have some extra detailings that you wouldn't see on smaller figures. For one, the texturing is actually captured in the sculpt itself. I thought that this was just going to be like a paint impression they did on an otherwise smooth surface, but no, the fur texture is actually part of the body sculpt, which is really, really impressive. All the details in the gloves are captured too, as you know, like in the technological dystopia that is New York City. Sonic actually gets a pretty sleek pair of sneakers, and look at that. Like, that texture is not painted. Those little pits are actually captured. I wonder if that's like the whole golf ball thing where they put the little divots in the shoe to make it more aerodynamic. On the back, you have those little thingies that allow Sonic to acclimate to each universe as he pops into them. Because that's Nine's technology. But yeah, like in terms of the pure look, the figure is actually amazing. So how is the posability? As you can see, even on this chair, he stands very solidly. That's because the head is hollow. It is a hollow construction. This is a very, very stiff, hard plastic, not the soft latex style plastic that the 4-inch figures have been made out of. But that hollow construction allows the head to be very light, so you don't have to worry about the figure being top heavy. So yeah, points for this one. It's one of the easiest Sonic figures there is to stand. Also, it probably helps that he has a much more significant heel than most other Sonic figures do as well. The head is not on a swivel, it's on its own little ball joint, so he has some capability to look up and down as well as left and right. That's something I haven't seen since the Ultimate Sonic figure, and on this guy, I feel like it's better implemented than it was. Maybe I'm just feeling happier because, well, you know what? The engineering of these figures actually is very similar to the Ultimate Sonic figure, but I feel like it's better, more refined. Or maybe I'm just happier because this figure only cost $15 while that one was like $40. So yeah, he has universal shoulders and universal elbows that get a full 90-degree bend and a swivel. His wrists are swiveled as well, although those are kind of tight, so you kind of accidentally rotate the bicep swivel unless you actually brace the arm. His hips have a decent range, thanks to similar universal joints. and you can actually get a deep 90-degree bend on the legs, which have the same joints, and there is a similar joint in the ankle. That's not a generic ball joint. That's another universal joint down there. So yeah, with all these joints, with all their range, you can actually have Sonic take on some pretty extreme wide-legged stances that Sonic couldn't normally do. And thanks to that neck peg, you can actually have him lean slightly forward. I remember seeing one of these on 4chan. You can actually have him do this, you know, that pose that he does, like that pose that looks like when he comes like when he stops and he's bracing himself. You can totally do that with this figure, and he can actually still be looking forward while doing it. The regular 4-inch figures from the main Jakks Pacific line, like they would have Sonic like looking down when you do this. So yeah, like that little bit of range that his neck has really helps with the posability and articulation. And look, his hand isn't touching. He's legitimately standing this way. So like don't even have to touch the ground with the hand to tripod him. So yeah, like this is a very, very good figure. The only thing I don't like is the implication that this is specifically the new Yoke City version. That means they're probably going to try and sell us 5 Sonic figures. They're going to give us like the original Sonic with his regular shoes and gloves. Then they're going to want to give us the Ghost Hill one with the wireframe. We're going to get the Nowhere Sea with the hover ones. The Boss Cage Maze with the Wolverine claws. Then there's going to be this one. And then, did he have a unique pair of shoes for the Grim? I'm actually not sure if there was a unique pair of shoes for the Grim. But if there is, then they'll probably try to sell us that. I probably would have rather just had a Sonic figure, and then like you could swap out the hands and shoes. Because that's really the only thing that's going to change if you do all 5 versions of Sonic. So, yeah, that's the only thing I don't like, the cynical marketing that's going to be implied by this. Especially when, you know, like, you have so many other characters that this franchise can do, and pretty much every wave is probably going to have a Sonic in it. So the only thing left now is to do a comparison. Here is the proper Jakks Pacific Sonic figure, like the one that's 4-inch scaled. As you can see, it's significantly shorter and a little bit harder to stand because his head is not hollow. And, you know, in this case, there actually was at least one other 5-inch Sonic figure, the Jazwares one. So we can actually compare a 5-inch Sonic figure to another 5-inch Sonic figure. And as you can see, the Jazwares one stands pretty much the same height. They look the same. The only difference is the way they decided to engineer the joints. Like, he only has swivels in his ankles, so that does make him a little bit more difficult to stand. And he has a swivel cut neck. He does have a waist joint that this new one doesn't have, but, you know, like, although, like, they did capture the slimmer limbs, you can see that this guy has skinnier limbs than this one does. I feel like the trade-off, like, these joints have better friction and more range than these do. Like, I think the trade-off of better posability that these thicker limbs give is a worthwhile trade. So, yeah, this is actually a better engineered figure. Although, you gotta remember, like, for how long ago this thing came out, it's still pretty good. So that is my final verdict on the Sonic Prime Sonic figure. I know some of you, if you really don't like the new Yoke outfit that he has, this might be a turnoff for you, and you might want to wait for, like, when they produce the proper figures. Like, this new scale even justifies making all the proper figures because it's a new scale. We've never had a 5-inch scaled Amy, Tails, or Knuckles, or any of that. So we have justification for all the characters, especially Rouge the Bat, since her outfit is the only one that's actually unique compared to the original game outfits. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I had to say, and then some about the Sonic the Hedgehog figure himself. So, tune in for the next video where we start to talk about the other characters. This is Wake Angel 2001 signing off.